Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the Hoya plant because all of us love Hoyas. In fact, everybody loves Hoyas. There's over 300 varieties of Hoyas and some of them look totally different. I've seen Hoyas where the leaves look like hearts. Now today I'm talking about the porcelain flower, which is a Hoya plant. I have my porcelain plants here. And this is what they look like. These ones I had actually bought, and then I thought the other day, let's talk about the Hoya because I'm waiting for my flower. So I did make this place where I hung it, and I thought, as we wait for the flower, at least I can look at it every day. And then I thought, let me teach everyone how to propagate this plant because it is so simple. So welcome back to my channel. I'm Alice and I'm the Red Soil Gardener. Now the thing about Hoya plants, again, you have to understand where they come from because they are tropical or subtropical plants. Now there are two types of Hoyas. Now you have the climbing Hoya and you do have a trailing Hoya. But the thing they have in common is that they're all epiphyllates and they live in the subtropical region or in the tropical region, and they love the forest. So that automatically tells you they love humidity, they love warm climates. And then second thing is that because they are sort of semi-succulents, the leaves actually store the water in there. So if I look at this leaf, it's waxy, it's hard, it's firm, but that's because it conserves its water in the leaves. So what happens with the Hoya, as I've put it in my new hanging baskets, and I'm going to show you how to do those, the stands, is I just found that it started creeping up again. Do you see? It's creeping up, and even the other one is trellising up. But the whole thing about these subtropical plants is that they send out their vines, or they call them whips with the Hoyas. They call them whips, these whips. And they try to get right in the top of the trees, on top of the canopy, because that's where it can survive. It doesn't need so much soil because it's an epiphyllate, it just survives. So basically it does like a dappled light, because always try to imagine the rainforest with all the trees and the shadows. So a full sun would actually scorch its leaves. The second thing is that because it is quite plump, and we said it does act like a succulent, is that basically just if you do have it, water it and let it dry out, because it does store water in its leaves. Now the other thing with the Hoya, it does like a well-drained soil, and I think this is once again you start thinking of the rainforest. I mean, all those beautiful branches and the compost and everything on the ground, and it does do well in a really good well-drained soil. And the thing about this beautiful plant, it does flower, and it's like they call it the wax flower, and it does look, it's like a little ball with little starlets, 5 stars in this ball, and in the evening it does let out a fragrance, and the pollinators are attracted to the fragrance and the nectar, and there you go, it's done. So when this beautiful flower, before it sort of emerges, it does emerge from a node. And when it does, they call them pendicles. And what happens is that's where the flower is going to grow. So it grows from this area. Now what happens is, the mistake that most people will do is after the flower is you cut the pedicle, but don't do that, because every flower will come from the same pedicle. So once you leave it, your flowers every year or whenever it is ready to flower will come from the same spot. So let's go back and let's start and go into our propagation table and see how to actually propagate this beautiful plant. So we're doing a straightforward propagation for the Hoya plant, and it's actually really simple, and we all love our Hoyas, so we're just hoping that they are a success. So what I've done is that I've pulled a vine just similar to this, and basically what I'm going to do is I've cut it close to the node as we've seen here, and I'm going to separate the leaves. So I'm going to cut one leaf here, one leaf here, and I could try that one, yeah. And then also do the same on the other side. I've seen a leaf that is growing, but let's see how it works. So I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to take this baby off, and then what I'm going to do is actually cut it here, just below the node. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a leaf propagation here with these, and then what I'm going to do with these ones is I'm just going to stick it in water because it's much faster. So now what I did over the 2 weeks it's taken me to get the rooting. This is a water propagation that I did 2 weeks ago, and with the Hoya it actually works really fast because I never really expected it to work fast. So I did a similar cutting, but more with the stem. And look at that. I've already got rooting taking place. They're still very young. I can wait a bit in water, but then I can also root them in soil. So that was my water propagation, and we see that it does work. Now my next propagation, what I did is I did a soil propagation, and usually I love soil propagations because I always feel that the rooting is much stronger. But in the case of the Hoya, as we've seen with the water propagation, the rooting is also quite strong, so it is good. So what I'm going to do here is actually, these are my soil propagation, and this is 2 weeks. And here we go, success story. Them, it actually did happen. So I'm going to just put that one down, and some of these are just single leaf propagations, and they have taken off. There it is, just hold on, there we go. Let me just check one more of this. This one feels like it's really dug in there. Okay, this is, again, I've got a lot of leaves there. But again, as we saw, is the rooting, the node is here, but along the stem, you do get sort of baby rootings coming from it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Hoya that is already propagated, and I'm going to stick it back in here, and then tomorrow I will get them into a bigger pot because I think they're actually ready to sprout, and I think we have to do them justice by giving them a bit more space as they've matured. And then what I'm going to do with these other ones, with the water propagation, I'm going to actually put it in soil, although I do feel that the water propagation has done a really good rooting, but I need it to be much stronger, which I saw with these ones. So I'm going to put that aside first. And with these babies here, I'm just going to put them straight in the soil, just like this. Submerge the base of the leaf into soil. And then as they get stronger, I'll just litter them all around my garden and have Hoyas everywhere. So I'll just put this one in here. So those are my new leaves that I'm going to propagate. Now what we're going to do with this one is I'm just going to take the ones which had been in water and just put it in the soil, and let's see how fast it'll all work. But I think we're in a good place. So I'm just going to stick it in here and cover it. Oops, might even take a bit out of this. There we go. And submerge it in the soil with the node, so that can go in. And also I'll do the same and just cut some of the stem off like that. Put it in here. There we go. And with this one again, I will submerge it in here in the soil and just make sure that all the roots are in the soil. So there we go. So what we've seen is a soil propagation where we've seen that the actual node and the stem is actually creating roots. So we're going to repot that tomorrow. And then what we had prepared before was a water propagation. And again, we've seen the rooting and we've repotted it in here so that the roots can get stronger. And what we've done here is a brand new soil propagation using the leaves and part of the node. Now there is another propagation that you can do with Hoyas, which is called layering, but we'll wait for another day with that one. So thank you, fellow gardeners. Thank you so much for being with us today and understanding the Hoya plant. Do start your cuttings. It is so simple. I did get rooting in 2 weeks, which was actually a miracle. I was surprised. But once you do your water propagation or your soil propagation, it does work really fast. So don't forget to like and share and press the notification button, subscribe to our channel. We are on Instagram. I do answer, and do, send me your comments. It's always nice to share. And thank you so much. So have a lovely day and enjoy your Hoyas. Bye.